Thanks for taking the time to check out the 1-5 cast, where our episodes are fast on your time and filled with substance. Subscribe to our cast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Follow us on Instagram at the 1-5 cast and follow our host, Will Chase, at DubChase on Instagram. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
On my show today, I will be speaking with Kristina Ritorto, who is a 10-year-old best-selling author who has been writing books ever since she was the age of 4 years old. She has authored 2 books, Invisible Girl and I Am a Survivor. Her father, Marc, is also a best-selling author. He has 4 daughters. He is also a musician and a martial artist. Just for fun, in 2018, Marc wrote his first self-published book called The Cabal. It was released on Amazon at the beginning of 2019. He is currently working on his second book, which is about a vampire. He also has plans to write a sequel for his first book, along with spin-offs with some of the characters in that series, in that book series. Marc and Kristina, first and foremost, welcome to the 1-5 cast, and once again, thank you for your time.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, Kristina, in your book, I Am a Survivor, the main character, Kaylee, she deals with bullying from her peers at school, and she is also dealing with the very terrible disease of cancer. What gave you the idea to write that book?
It was kind of just like, it was a little random. Like, so when I found out about, like, self-publishing, I was just like, well, I don't know what I should do, if I should do something that's, like, you know, from the heart or something different. So, like, I was just kind of, like, experimenting, and so, like, I just came up with these, like, ideas, and I was just like, okay, well, we need a problem that my character has to face. And like, I was like, well, let's just do something, like, different, like cancer or something. Gotcha.
And now, Marc, in your current book that you're writing, in regards to the vampire story that you're telling in your new novel, now I know in your first book the setting was Washington, D.C. Have you established, is in the vampire book, is the setting going to be Washington, D.C. as well, or are you going to be making up a new place for it?
A lot of the book takes place in Europe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's going to primarily take place. It's actually an origin story. So in the beginning, it's going to take place in Germany during World War II.
Whoa.
The main character is actually a gypsy, and he's actually a prisoner in a concentration camp, in a Nazi concentration camp. I actually thought it was kind of interesting that not only that Jewish people were persecuted during that time, but there was also the gypsies as well. And I think people knew about it, and I was figuring, hey, you know, gypsies are always associated with paranormal activities such as werewolves and witches. So I thought it was a good fit. So that's what I went with.
Wow, I think that is so cool. Because, I mean, you just taught me something. I didn't even realize that, you know, with the gypsies also being persecuted during that time.
Yep. Yeah, I did a pretty in-depth research on it, and I kind of found it fascinating. And I always like you know, vampire movies and vampire television shows and vampire books. Like, I read a lot of Anne Rice novels. So that's why I decided to come up with that book. And it's almost done. I probably got, like, I'm at 90% done.
Okay, wow. Yeah, you definitely.
I'll be done with it, and then it's the hard part is proofreading. I hate proofreading. It's always the hardest for me.
You have to see why I would think it's definitely a tedious process.
Exactly.
Now, Marc and Kristina, do the two of you have any plans in the future, somewhere down the road, to collaborate and possibly write something together?
We haven't really thought about that. got two different audiences. Like Kristina kind of writes about what's going on with her life. Like a lot of the characters are like based on her age group. Whereas a lot of my characters, are grown-ups. Like the first book, The Cabal, that could actually target the young adult audience, but it's primarily, adult young men adventure action thriller novel. Whereas Kristina deals with a lot of issues that girls her age go through, particularly in school, dealing with being quiet and shy and dealing with bullies and how to deal with them. So her book is I guess, more heartfelt, and I think it's like a good role model for children to follow.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And now, Kristina, who is your favorite writer, and what is your favorite book?
Ooh, that's a good one, Kristina. She probably has a lot of them.
Actually, one of my favorite writers is Susan Collins, the author of The Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games, yep.
And also, like, J.K. Rowling with Harry Potter, because I like, I don't write about it because I'm not good at writing anything with fantasy or, like, dystopian novels. But, like, I love, like, The Hunger Games. I love Harry Potter, Divergent, and there's a new series that I'm reading. It's called Warrior Cats, but it's not as like, violent as The Hunger Games. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about cats, right? And they have their own little adventures. It's actually a pretty popular novel with the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the author, actually it's like a bunch of authors, they just share the same name, and I think they got like 7 or 14 books. So it's a pretty popular series.
Yeah.
So, and she loves Harry Potter.
So now, Marc, have you ever given any thought? I know you mentioned that, your current book that, is 90% done and it's dealing with vampires. And, even that whole genre for us, just being adults, I remember a TV show I used to watch, like True Blood, and I know there's a couple of Twilight movies that my wife watches. Do you ever see yourself maybe getting to that point, maybe fast forward 10 years from now, 7 years from now, somewhere down the road? Could you see it maybe ever going down that road?
What, going down the road or what?
Like where maybe like one of your books is being maybe adapted and someone taking it to a silver screen for you.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like my goal.
Okay.
Yeah, it is my goal, and I'm actually, I think once I'm done with this book, I actually trying to turn the Cabal into a movie, but I wouldn't be able to do it myself. I would have to probably find a producer to buy the rights. I was going to try to find a higher screenwriter, but I really have trust issues with people. I'd rather see if I could find sell the rights to it and go that route. But then I was also thinking of taking Kristina's first book, because it's kind of like a simple story, and try to produce that movie myself, because I think it could be done on a low budget. And I know one guy that's like a director, it's like local, and I think he would be good for the director. It's just a matter of us sitting down and writing out the screenplay, which I have never done, but I think since the book is kind of, it was her first book, and it was kind of shorter than her other novels, I think it would be easy to work with. But yeah, that is kind of my goal. And I don't know if it's my daughter's goal, but I kind of hope that if it doesn't happen for me, that it happens for them, because she's so young. She's got many years ahead of her.
Right.
So, it can eventually happen for her. I mean, it could possibly happen for me, but since she's a child, she has more time on her hands, whereas me, I work a full-time job. I raise the kids. I'm busy. This is kind of like a side passion for me, whereas for her, she can really dive into it full force and take it as she gets older. Take it day by day and grow with the art of writing books.
Absolutely. I mean, Marc, kudos to you and your wife for the simple fact that, you have a 10-year-old that is into reading books. I mean, she's writing books, and just reading, because I think a lot of parents sometimes it's like, hey, I need my kid to read more. And that's So kudos to you guys for, exposing her to that and allowing her to just hone her skill and her love of it. I think it is just really awesome.
Yeah, I thank my wife for that. I mean, I read to them when they were little, but I think it all started with her older sister, Diana, and Julia. They love to read too, and I think the younger ones, because she's the third child. I got 4 kids. She actually, I guess, just follows suit. So they go into the reading mood. I mean, like the average kids of today, they do like to go play on their tablets and computers, but they do go into reading mode. And when Kristina goes into reading mode, she can polish off 2 books in a week, and they're not short books.
Gosh.
You're talking like 400 or 500 pages. She can go through them in a week, 2 books a week. Like every once in a while, I'll be like, hey, let's go to Barnes and Noble, and then we come home with like a stack of books for each kid, and they just tear through it. So it's a good habit to have. So I'm happy with it. They got good.
Absolutely, it is.
I think it all ties into the reading, the love of reading.
So now, Marc and Kristina, before I let you guys get out of here, there is one thing I do want my viewers and listeners to be able to know. How can they purchase, copies of your books and possibly get in touch with you for speaking engagements or whatever it is, like, and things like in regards to that? How can they get in touch with you guys?
We have a website.
Yeah, the website is www.ritortofamilybooks.com. It's RITORT familybooks.com. You can go there. Or the hardcover copy of our books are just exclusively sold on the website, but we have links to the Kindle and paperback versions on Amazon, as well as the paperback version on Barnes and Noble. Some people, I don't know, I guess if they have a preference, they want to buy it on Barnes and Noble, they could buy the paperback there. But the Kindle book and the audio book, we have an exclusive deal with Amazon. So they can. We have links on our websites from our books directly to Amazon's websites for both the audio and the Kindle books, and they can go there and purchase it. And again, the hardcover copy book we just sell exclusively on our website. And there's also a contact page if they want to get in contact with us, and there's also links to our Facebook page and our Instagram and our YouTube channel.
Okay,
we're all over the place.
No, that's a good thing. So now, what's like the Instagram handle name and the Facebook?
The Facebook is Ritorto Family Books. Instagram is Marc_Ritorto.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I said, there is a contact page on there where people can submit questions, and we also have if they want to subscribe to our email list, there's a link right on the first page where they can just enter their email address and hit the subscribe button.
Awesome. Well, thank you, both of you. Just thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
It was an honor being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to our cast that's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Also, give us a follow on Instagram at The 15Cast and follow our host, Will Chase, at DubChase on Instagram.